It always started small, a delayed email, a missed call, a tiny problem that should have been nothing. But somehow, it became everything. I'd snap at people I cared about, get lost in my own head, rehearsing conversations that never happened, trying to stay calm and failing. The worst part? I thought this chaos was just part of success. That tension meant I was doing something important, but deep down I was just lost. In noise I didn't know how to silence. I didn't need to study philosophy. I was raised with it. Greek thinkers were the background music of my youth, echoing through my father's voice, my teacher's questions, the silence between school and the sea. But something happened. Life got fast, and slowly I started living like I'd never heard any of it. Like calm was something I could download. Like clarity would arrive once I finished this one last task. Until one night, I sat in stillness and heard a memory, a phrase I hadn't spoken in years. Be as you wish to seem. And something returned to me, not a discovery, a reconnection.
This is Timeless Mind, where ancient wisdom clears modern chaos.
Socrates didn't care about appearances. He believed that if you wanted to look wise or calm or good, you had to live it. The outside should reflect the inside. Anything else was just performance. That quote stayed with me. Be as you wish to seem. It wasn't about pretending. It was about choosing, every day, to align who I was with who I claimed to be. When I stopped blaming traffic, timelines, and other people, I realized calm wasn't something I lacked. It was something I hadn't practiced. So I began small. When the phone buzzed, I didn't reach. When someone interrupted me, I paused. Not because I'm naturally calm, but because I was training for it. Each choice was practice, each breath, a reset. That's what Socrates meant, not to appear composed, but to become it through repetition. Xenophon wasn't just a thinker, he was a commander, a survivor. He led men through hostile terrain, through betrayal, hunger, and uncertainty. And still, his writing spoke of reason, of discipline, not because life was calm, but because he had trained for chaos. I used to think I was anxious because life was hard. Deadlines, delays, conflict. But the truth? I was anxious because I expected everything to go right. I wanted the world to follow my plan. But Xenophon taught me, peace comes not from control, but from readiness. When I stopped expecting ease, I started practicing presence. Hard moments came, like they always do, but I met them differently. I didn't resist. I responded. That's what Xenophon offered, not the illusion of control, but the strength of being ready before the storm. Plato warned us, when we divide the soul from the body, we suffer. And I had done exactly that. Physically, I was everywhere I needed to be. At work, at dinner, in conversation. But mentally, I was always somewhere else. I would rest with my phone in my hand, eat while reading headlines, talk while checking the clock. I had become scattered, not because I lacked time, but because I was never fully in one place. I wasn't tired from doing too much. I was tired from never arriving. Plato wasn't just talking about medicine, he was warning us. You can't fix the body while ignoring the mind, and you can't calm the mind while neglecting the body. So I began to move slower, to eat without screens, to walk without rushing, to listen fully. And in that presence, I began to heal. Aristotle believed wisdom didn't start with answers, it started with pause, with stillness, with the kind of wonder that asks, what am I really chasing? But my life was a blur. Calls, messages, meetings. I had answers for everything, but no space left for questions. It wasn't that I didn't care about wisdom, it's that I never slowed down long enough to hear it, so I made space, even just 5 minutes. No music, no news, no screens, just stillness and the discomfort that came with it. And slowly I started to notice how much noise I had mistaken for clarity. That pause became a pattern. One breath before I replied, one moment before I reacted. I stopped trying to control every outcome and started choosing my response. That's what Aristotle offered, not escape from life, but the power to live it deliberately. If this moment has reminded you of who you are and who you still wish to become, then pause, not to escape, but to return. Return to the wisdom you always carried, the calm that was never gone, just waiting. Subscribe to Timeless Mind by Nikolaos. Each week, we return to ancient Greek wisdom, to reset, to reflect, to rise with clarity. This is your space, your philosophy, your voice, remembered. Calm isn't a final state. It's not something you achieve and then walk away with forever. It's a practice, a muscle, a return. One deep breath when the noise rises. One question before you react. One moment where you choose presence instead of panic. The ancient Greeks didn't promise calm as a reward. They offered it as a way of being, a quiet strength that isn't shaken by noise, a presence that doesn't vanish in pressure. Not perfection, but alignment. Calm not as a destination, but as the ground you return to every single day. Some people think calm is for the privileged, a luxury of time and comfort. But the ancient Greeks didn't live easy lives. They knew war, loss, exile. Still, they sought clarity, not just strategy, because they understood. Without calm, we lose ourselves long before we lose the battle. That's why philosophy matters, not as a theory, but as a compass. It brings you back when the world pulls you away, not to who you were, but to who you've always had the potential to be. That's what I learned when I stopped chasing noise and started listening again. I used to think I had to earn calm, prove myself, fix everything, achieve more. But the truth was simpler. Calm was always within reach. I just kept stepping over it to chase things that didn't matter. The ancient Greeks didn't give me something new. They reminded me of something I forgot. Calm isn't the absence of chaos. It's the presence of something deeper, a quiet knowing that you are not lost. You just stopped listening, but now you remember.